Salvations to everyone in the collective. We are back for another part 3 Halloween energy read. Thank you to everyone that has tuned in and tapped in. I greatly appreciate you. The ancestors, the spirits, they want you to know that they appreciate you for supporting your girl. And if you would like to support me even more, check out the Cash App, check out the community tab. Donations are always welcome. They are very much so appreciated. And I give back to the collective tenfold whatever is given to me by applying those donations to this channel. I do these things because I like to do them. I'm very much so myself when I do these energy reads. More myself than what I knew, who I knew I was. So as I continue to do these messages and give them out as I am guided to, even if they're karmic, I very much so enjoy them. I'm finding things out about myself as I tap into your energy. Like I said, we learn through shared experiences. Very transparent over here, collective. So I hope you guys have had an amazing day. It is November the 1st officially. So it's after 12. So whenever you are tuning in or tapping into this message, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and keep coming back. Keep coming back because your girl greatly appreciates it. I also want to say happy Halloween and thank you to all my hidden helpers, everyone that loves me and sends me energetic love and or donations, energy donations, that is. I say energy donations, that is. Foghorn, leghorn could be significant. So, tawaret, ashe, are you ready? Since the veil is so thin, and trust me, even though it's November the 4th, technically, time really doesn't exist to me. I am invoking certain deities that would like to come through. I'm not worried about like anything like possession or anything like that. Trust me, I have prepped and primed all day long to make sure that I am protected and that I have established this place as a neutral ground for all spiritual beings, multidimensional beings, universal beings, ancestors of my highest good, spirit guides, guardians, archangels. I have made sure that I have prepped and primed my energy, this space all day long to ensure the safety of myself as well as the collective. Be mindful that when you watch energy reads, whether you know this or not, you open your line of energy up to whatever energy is attached to that read. Even if I'm reading, and this is why I make sure that I do certain protection for myself and for the collective. So, because there can be times when I'm tapping into karmic energy and they could be like, they could have entity attachments and stuff. And because I'm pulling on the energy of that karmic, the entity attached to it, it may not be able to attach itself to me, but it might be able to attach itself to someone in the collective through these reads. So be mindful of that also when you, when you're watching readings. And this is not for me to scare anyone, but I do the necessary steps and ask for protection for my collective as well as myself. And I take certain measures to make sure that we are all safe as possible can possibly be. But ultimately, our safety is ensured by the Most High God. Don't ever forget that. So I want to, somebody just fell on my mind. She's a reader. I love what she does. She's more of a shadow divine messenger. She has beautiful insight though. Beautiful insight. Very, very intuitive and beautiful woman. But as we know, we can't like crosstalk on YouTube and can't shout anyone out, because then we have our haters in the background. But nonetheless, we're going to keep this energy going beautifully as it has always been going, or as it has been going for the day. Things have been going smoothly. Your girl is feeling really great. The energy in here is very balanced. The veil is very thin still, even still. Nonetheless, we have tawaret, ashe. Tawaret represents fertility. She represents the womb space. In this particular deck, Tawaret is depicted, she is known as the hippo goddess, okay? Or hippo deity. In this particular deck, she comes out, her number is 24, so 6, and then Genesis. Should I have grabbed the sixth house? And Genesis. Now, I would like to point out before we continue, this is tawaret. Ashe to tawaret, okay? I would like to point out that she is holding an ankh on top of her head. That is her crown chakra, the blossoming of her crown chakra. She is very much so, and like I said, she is a deity of fertility, the dual nature of why fertility exists. Like what the masculine and feminine in the physical sense, how the duality of the two coming together, bursts forth something new. And from the beginning of time, this has how it has been. Dual nature. Genesis. Okay? I noticed that there is a hidden cow behind her. Cows represent nurture. They represent nurturing, compassion, fertility. They represent abundance as well. And it's funny because, like, my name is Vache, Vache, accent mark over the E. It is French, and it stands for baby calf. Okay? And she's so funny because she's been pulling on my energy all day. Like, I did 2 other energy reads with different gods and goddesses and stuff like that. She has been wanting to go. So I don't know. I pulled quite a few. I really don't know how I feel about them. So if I need to take away from, I definitely will. I haven't even read the cards that I pulled, but I'm being told to look at the 6th house. Since her number represents 6. Now, Genesis, we're talking about in the beginning of something, okay? In the beginning. The 6th house represents service to others. What is good for us? Your work. And then as a full-time job, serving, do it a little at a time. So I don't know if that really pertains to her. I'm going to leave that there. We're going to table that and we're going to see how we kind of navigate through this energy, how she wants me to navigate, because she is going to be quite different, okay? This message could contain, or this message could be talking about Starfire, your original Starfire, your original as a soul. We are a star. For every one of us that has connected to our soul's purpose, we have connected to the star that is aligned. There are so many in the sky, astrology wise, from the beginning. There were stars made, right? Well before man. So we all have a star for the most part. That is our soul in the ethers or in the celestial, in the ethers. I'm going to say that. That is our soul. Starfire. And no, not like the cartoon Starfire, but I like that too. I like it. I like it. I like it. Because these two index cards came out. Fire, somebody could be a fire sign, and then you're a star. But this is giving me soul energy, like what burns deep within you, what makes you tick, what makes you you, right? This is also giving me purpose. We can't find our purpose until we know who we are from the beginning, Genesis, why we were placed here. I haven't even looked onto these cards yet, but we're going to get there, collective. We're going to get there. Don't worry. Okay. Now we have tawaret, Genesis, Ashe, and then we have the 11th house. The 11th house represents freedom, associations, your circle of friends. It also represents for humanity's sake, your hopes and wishes. Do it for the future. Now I want to point out your hopes and wishes, because when you wish upon a star. What star would that be? Your soul starfire, or your soul star, the one that is set in the heavens. Our stars. Each of us have a star, or we should, unless we sell the star. And I find that very interesting that I say that. When I think about it, I think about how recently I seen a documentary where scientists were trying to recreate and capture the essence of stars and lightnings in a jar. They always fucking with God's creation, are they not? Plebeians. Feeble-minded plebeians. Next, we have Saturn. Okay? Saturn talks about being realistic about, being concerned about. You must wait before you can. And it also talks about the maturity that brings caution regarding and limits imposed. Yes. My bad, child. Hold on. Yes. You okay? Want to go lay with Nyla? Do you need to pee? What is it? You looking for that candy bucket, aren't you? You want to go lay on the couch? Go ahead. I'm right here. Again, sun, soul, S-O-L, soul. Winter solstice is very significant. Then we have Mercury, communicate. I would mess up on Mercury, wouldn't I? Knowing we're in Mercury retrograde. Communicate, analyze, let your mind tell you how to. The awareness of many thoughts about or from and many words. Excuse me. Spiritual bird. And then we have Leo, self-confidence to create, taking a chance on, resulting from the impressiveness of. And then we have leadership, the creativeness of, and do what you want and. And then we have the 12th house here. Your faith, hidden tendencies, large institutions, or overwhelming events. Hold on, collective. These got to come off because, you know, they come. Ciao. Because they were pinching my skin. Those are the clamp-on kinds. So they were pinching my skin. Seeking oneness with all there is. Philanthropy. Keep your involvement hidden. I'm so focused on this word sun and soul, S-O-L. Soul star, solstice. How would that pertain to Genesis, though? The birthing forth of newness, new stars being born. New stars are added into the solar system or into the skies every day. Something significant about the star alignment in during the winter solstice. Eastern stars. The birth of Christ. Remember, no, that was the North Star that was present. Was it not? No, it was the Eastern Star. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Your star, your soul star, is your guide. The star as every star is added when a child is born, it changes the depiction of the map of the other stars, or it adds, not change in a bad way though, it adds to. Sort of like if you're on a route, right? And you're taking a trip, however you would like to, you're going somewhere at long range, long distance, right? You have particular pit stops, okay, that are on this map. Let's say you travel across country for a living, or this is something that you want to do. And you have every stop mapped out. Stars on major stops, right? Places that you're supposed to come by or come across that's supposed to, I don't know, do something for wherever you are on your journey. I don't know, pit stop, shower stop, a sleep stop, somewhere. All these things are important and necessary to allow for us to get to our final destination. But it's really not about the final destination. It's about every star, every stop that we make. These stops, the stars would be the same thing as souls, people that we come across on a daily basis, right? We really don't know where our true destinations are, but it's about every encounter that we have with every star on that map to the destination. That adds to our character. That adds to our knowledge base, right? That adds to our equipment. We may find sometimes also that when following this map, that all the star stops, let's say favorite stops, you know, like you do on Google Maps and stuff, because I'm getting that too. I don't know why I picked up map, like road map, but also like the road map or the road map of one's soul, how it pertains to the map of the stars. And as we're going towards this destination, you know, at first we start off with the destination being our main goal. That's all we're worried about, right? But somewhere along the line, we may find that we don't we have changed from the time that we began this trip, that we have changed, and we really don't want to get to the destination. We're having too much fun experiencing all the different pit stops, all the interactions, the encounters, all the sights, all the everything. So really, is the destination the the real prize, or is it everything that we gain along the way? Now, let's say that we have things mapped out to a T, and we have all our stops mapped out, favorite places, things like that. But every day, something new is being built. A new star is being added to the map. We've never been there. We didn't count on encountering that particular star, person, encounter, whatever you would like to consider a star. But in this sense, I'm talking about star, soul, a person with a soul, where they are on their journeys, and us not ever intending to, or even for us not foreseeing that we would ever come across a star such as that one. And then sometimes on our journeys, we come across a soul, a star, a place on the map so significant. It changes our whole frame of mind from where we started and where we thought we wanted to go, but now we don't really want to get to that destination, or maybe our destination has changed entirely. Maybe the point was never even to get to the destination, but to encounter certain stars along the way. And nobody really foresees that you're going to encounter people, certain people, places, issues, obstacles, goals, information, beauty, talent, all kinds of stuff. Nobody ever even tasting new food. You never really, especially if you're the type of person where you like set things, right? And we never really ever plan on or foresee coming across all these beautiful, intricate things, all these things that are all so different. And then we finally experience something that is life-changing. It changes who we were in the beginning, and it changes the trajectory of where we are going, where we want to end up. Do we really want to end up somewhere, or do we really just want to experience? I know I sound like I'm talking in riddles and circles. Don't worry, collective. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm getting there. How many people have thought that they would end up somewhere or be a certain place by now, this point in time in their life? How long ago did you plan to be at a certain point in your life? Did it all work out? Did you actually make it there? Some people did. Some people have made it there, and it's not what it's cracked up to be. Some people have made it there, and it's what it's cracked up to be. But for the most part of us, the majority part of us, 10 years ago, could you foresee today? Could you foresee all the people that you have come across, every test you have been put through, every lesson that you have learned? Have you acquired anything good? Have you acquired knowledge about yourself, things that you never knew about yourself, that you never expected you to be doing, or places for you to be, good or bad, good or bad? Let's just say good, because I don't feel bad energy off of this. And there goes my ears. Has the pathway that you have been on from 10 years ago, Have you encountered so many different situations and people where it has changed the way you think and feel about yourself in a good way, though? Discovering parts of yourself that you never knew existed. Like, for instance, I was saying on the last slide before I ended it, I was saying, this. I love doing this. I love it. Sometimes it's very, the reads are karmic, they're crazy, but I love this. When I read other people's energy, I consider it an experience. And I find out from reading other people's energy what I like and don't like, things that I never knew about myself. This is what we call shared experiences. That's what I see right here. Seeking oneness with all there is. That's not it. Wait. Here we go. The 11th house. Freedom, associations, your circle of friends. And then it says for humanity's sake, your hopes and wishes, do it for the future. I never imagined myself doing this. I never imagined me ever. Listen, I just did it. And so much that I went through, it has brought me here. That's why I can be in this energy of appreciation and gratitude so often. I definitely can. Because what if all those experiences, if they wouldn't happen, let's say the bad ones, right? If they would have never happened, you want to take it off? You want me to put it back on? Child, he want to sleep in the whole costume. Fine by me. But if I would not have ever experienced those, let's say bad things, I'm gonna take the good with the bad, taking the good with the bad. Would I have ever come to this point where I would have found myself in tarot, divine messages, sitting on a camera, doing lives, doing pre-records, reading other people's energy, and as I read other people's energy, I'm like, I like that. Or I don't like that. That's something that I used to like. Or this person thinks the way that I used to think. And I don't see it quite well. Reading other people's energy, this allows me to also see myself through other people's eyes, if that makes sense. Where we start has nothing to do with where we end. Really, where we start, it has no end. When I think about the galaxies, the stars, the universes, the multiverses, the infinity of all, there really is no end. The possibilities are endless. There are no limits. With Saturn, limits imposed. There are no limits. I can't imagine myself getting to a specific destination and being like, this is it. I never want there to be an end. And like stars, we burn infinitely. The soul within us, the soul's purpose is to always experience others, experience people, places, things. This is what's important from the beginning. We may not start off knowing this. We may start off thinking that certain, right here, associations, your circles of friends, that even changes. Who we start off in the beginning doesn't mean that we're supposed to end with people. We're all supposed to be together or stay together on my path. That doesn't mean that. They have their own path. Eventually, we must all split apart. But because everything is so infinite, eventually we will come back to a point where we meet again, where our paths cross again. To think that things are supposed to stay the same from beginning to end is a limit imposed. Especially, we need to take caution about this. This is how we get so binded and tethered to so many old habits of no toxic ways and stuff and in karmic cycles. We impose the limits on ourselves, thinking that everything that we began, we're supposed to have with us the whole way, or we're supposed to end with that, because we're all thinking about this whole end goal, this whole end destination. I think that's I'm trying to figure out a way of how to put this, right? I'm trying to figure out a way how to put this. So improvising is my strong suit. It is. I can improvise the shit out of any situation. Any situation. I am good at improvisions. Because I know that nothing is constant but change. I never imagined myself being on addicted to drugs. Trigger warning, but you must be 18 or older anyways. I've already stated that. But if you are not, please click off, please and thank you. I never imagined myself going through that. I actually spent my whole entire life trying to control things to make sure that I never got there, that I would never be an addict, ever. And then here I am, 3 years ago now? 3 years ago? I was so ashamed of myself, like, that I even allowed that to happen. So ashamed. But that was never meant to be my life. It was meant to be an experience for me to really, like, I really went through some shit during that time. I really, really, really did. I was so ashamed of myself. Like, you said you would never be here. But remember, where I started off and where I planned on being has nothing to do with, or it could have everything to do with it. Shit, I don't know how to say this, but we really cannot foresee the entire everything that's going to happen on our path. We really can't see that maybe we're going to have to change our trajectory, change our destination, get off here, get off at this exit, take a rest break. We don't foresee these things, because some things we are not meant to see. We're just meant to experience. It builds character. Some people it dims them, but some people it brightens them. Maybe the bad experiences are there to show us how bright our pathway is, or to brighten our pathway for us to get back on it. And then we get back on it. And I'm trying to think of what movie I'm thinking about, because this could pertain to like twin soul stars or twin flames, okay? Soul stars. Let's say that twin flames are built or forged from the same fire, from the same fire and dust, stardust, okay? The same in all kinds of ways, right? Even if one is bigger and smaller, like, Tawaret, you taking me for a doozy. This is not fair. This is not fair. Okay. So, good example. A bigger star and a smaller star right next to each other, right? The smaller star can have the same mass that the bigger star does. Even though it's smaller, it can have the same mass. Because the smaller star can have certain materials, certain metals, certain resources, a certain gravitational pull. All these things play a role in that smaller star's mass, where it weighs the same as the bigger star, right? And so it doesn't really make the smaller are less important or less impactful. It just means that the smaller star has the same mass of qualities, even if different, so has the same mass of qualities as this bigger star. If I'm explaining it that way, because something here is about stars, souls and stars. But both of these stars could have started off from the same chemical makeup. Let's just say it that they could have both been forged with like, I don't know if I'm tripping, if I don't know. I think glitter is on my eyelash. Never mind. But anyways, both of these stars could have started off the same type of way. Same content, same everything, right? And both of them knew that they were going to be stars. Let's say they started off as a speck of celestial dust, right? They both revolve around the same sun. Oh no, the sun is a star. So that's not really what I want to say. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out how. Scratch that. Planets. Same planets. Bigger planet, smaller planet, same mass. The materials, the resources are just a little bit different. One could have more materials and resources. One could have less. But one's gravitational pull and density could be different. One could have a more hollow center. Okay. One could have a stronger gravitational pull based off of how many moons it has. Let's say it's the moons, because stars, moons. In Genesis, in the beginning, God created the heavens. He created the stars. He created all of that. All of that. The sun and the moon and the stars. Two different sized planets. That's not even the best way for me to put it, because I'm trying to figure out how to word this, because I know astrology at least basic enough to know to the sun would be a star. So what would be the stars, child? I'm trying to figure it out. What would be the stars? What are you trying to get me to see, tawaret? Because the sun is a star. And then it has celestial bodies. Those bodies have moons, resources. But every celestial body shares a sun, the same sun. Even if they're different in mass, different in size, different in the limits imposed, how many moons or how little moons that they have, how many times they rotate around the sun doesn't make anyone less important, but they are the sun. And the sun, its name is soul. It is known as the soul. Ra, Atum, help me put it into words, please. Because I can't make this one is sometimes I really wish that I had certain materials. I would literally sit here and build what I'm saying for the collective to see. Like I literally would build like a plane, firmament. I, I would build because sometimes there are no words for these things. But in the beginning we didn't speak. It was telepathic. We can literally send the vision that we see within our third eye to another's, and they would just know. Words were not necessary. It was a feeling. It was a feeling that was shared. What I do is I create. I want to create. That's what I like doing. I will experiment the shit out of life. Okay? Like I will experiment. I will make an experiment out of everything. Every single thing. I'm an inquiring mind. Very, very curious. Very explorative. And even if it doesn't turn out the best or how I thought that experiment would turn out, everything that I gain, all the knowledge that I learn along the way, man, that allows me to create something different. That allows me to even change the idea that I started off with. I wish I could put into words the feeling. Yes. Huh? Your Batman mask? It's hanging on Caleb's door. I don't even know why he was messing with your mask. It's hanging on Caleb's doorknob. Go in the hallway, look on Caleb's door. He looking for that Batman mask, child. So are we talking about the sun here? Are we talking about enlightenment? We're gonna index card. We gonna index card it because I really don't know where I'm going. That's so funny that I said that. You listen, tawaret. I don't think that's funny. Did y'all hear what I just said? I don't know where I'm going, but I'm excited to see where it's going. Child, she played too much. Law of vibration could be significant. Yeah. What you want? I'm not doing that on camera. Kaya, what is it? Are you gonna go lay down with your Batman mask? Well, what is it? Oh no, you're not getting my phone. I'm playing music on there. Everything is in constant motion. One's vibrational frequency can inform that nothing ever stands still. So again, change is constant. It is inevitable. There is always going to be change along our paths. We don't know who, what will encounter, but we encounter these things. No matter how much we plan or map out where it is that we want to be or where we see ourselves, those things change. So it's really about, you see how excited I got? Like, damn, like that done piqued my curiosity. Now I want to see, I want to check into stuff. I want to pull the index cards because I'm trying to find out what is the moral of the story. It's really not about the moral of the story. It's really about what I am about to learn, putting stuff together. Because I'm curious about the moral of the story, the conclusion. That what I'm getting is there is no conclusion. It's not that we don't have a purpose, it's that we focus too much on the purpose, we miss the experiences. This is the only way I know how to explain this. Like a star is supposed to, listen, stars have life, okay? And even though a lot of stars have millions and billions of trillions of years worth of life within them, and so long as the fire burns within them, the soul, right? Like us, well, never mind. We'll just table that part. But anyways, eventually stars go through what they call star deaths. Yes, they go through star deaths. And this is when the star, the sun, in whatever respects, planet or universe, multiverse you would like to consider it, it may be different in others, but we'll use this one because, you know, this is readily available, of course, you know. So eventually its fire dies down. It has experienced so many changes along its lifespan that the fire within it dies, and eventually that star collapses on itself. This is what they would like to call the death of a star, but in fact, just hear me, collective fucking A, bro. She funny. But in fact, that's not really the death of that star. When that star collapses on itself, it explodes into, I don't know, infinite amount, let's say trillions and trillions of pieces, right? And these pieces, they scatter out all over the fucking place. And then they collect dust from all the different other stars and planets and stuff like that. And everything that it collects along the way, that little speck from that explosion, from that collapsing of, everything that it collects builds that into something new. It bursts that into something new. Am I making sense? Because in my mind, it makes fucking sense. So the same way that stars are studied, their life cycles, their lifespans, what happens, death is only the beginning. The true death would be to get to a point where it just ends, right? So it doesn't really end. Because what we think of as an ending is merely just an ending of where we started. The ideas we had, the desires we had, the people we thought we would keep along the way. What we think of as the end is just a limit imposed on our mentality, right? So if we remove the thought of there being an ending, all we are left with are the experiences that come along with change. That's the only thing, and everything, how we affected whatever we come into contact with along the way. and how whatever we come into contact with along the way has affected us in such a way where we are accumulating ourselves into something new, into a new star, a new planetary body, a new something. Fucking Afro. Now this thing want to fall 500 million thousand times, right? It's been cool all day, but now it wants to fall on me. But this could be about the collapsing of a star. It doesn't have to be our sun. This could be the collapsing of our soul. So, okay. Bobby, would you like to help me with this one? God, as an anagram, stands for, in energy wise, stands for generate, operate, disintegrate, begin again. The cycle energy never dies, nor is it ever destroyed, right? So this would be equivalent to the circle of life, right? At the top, we would have God, generate, right? The letter G, generate. As it goes through this cycle, it is in operation. And then it comes into a decline, right? The collapse of a star, the falling apart of ourselves, our ideas, our beliefs, our friends, associations, family structures. It falls apart. This is a part of the circle, geometry here as well. We get to the bottom of the circle. This is a descent. This is it. Give mommy that book because if I stand up, my dress is so short, I don't want anybody to see like my hoo-ha or anything or my cheeks. So, no, that one with my marker. Oh, give me that book right there. Give me that book right there. Yeah. Yeah. Let mom see that. Thank you. And don't laugh at my little stupid circle, but it's, look. Oh, my Lord. Fucking A. Hold on. What telepathy you said? I hope y'all can hear me because when I take it off of that thing, it, hold on, I got it. Okay. Please stay up. Be nice to me, please, and thank you. Okay. Y'all gonna think, listen. I'm good at improvising. Let's just say that. I think of 500 million ways to do, explain, experiment, and show people things, okay? This is God, the circle of life. See it? G-O-D. Generate, the energy is generated from the time of birth, the time of life. Generate. In the circle of life that we go through, all the changes, all the adding to, all the ideas, everything. This is the operation. Oh, eventually we come to a decline, right? And this is where we experience what is known as death and rebirth, or death, right? Death, disintegrate, death. Generate, operate, disintegrate. But it never ends. It never ends. You just start over again, right? Once you disintegrate, and this would be the decline, this would be the death here. This would be the major change, the tower that happens in our lives, right? We still must go on an incline back to generate. It never ends. Every cell is a circle. There's a circle of life. A clock is a circle. The planet, so to speak, right? These are representations of the circle of what is known as an energy never dies. It literally goes through a generation. It operates for an amount of time. It goes through a disintegration or decline where it is at its lowest point. But this lowest point is merely just take a hill for instance, right? A hill. And this is not the best because that's a hill is not a hill is not a wheel on the hill. Okay, let's do that. I'm gonna fuck him up with that, bro. Oh my God. Like, I hope y'all didn't see no undies or anything like that. So this wheel right here, okay? This wheel right here is this. This is us. Okay? As we get up here, this is where we start at, right? We start right here, right? God, generate. Energy is generated at the top. We gain momentum at the top, right? The momentum is the operation. Everything that we accumulate, momentum. Based on what we accumulate, sometimes we go hella fast. We are in operation fast. We are rotating fast as fuck. Now, this wheel, boom. Eventually, with all that momentum, because of inertia, it goes down and it hits this. And you would think, oh my goodness. We would think, oh my goodness, like it's hit a disintegration. But we have built up, gained, accumulated so much momentum, so much inertia, where even if we go down, eventually that force from everything that we have gained, it's not meant to destroy us, but to thrust us. From this point where we think it's death, where we think it's our lowest point, but we have a reservation of energy from all the momentum, the inertia that we have built up here. Boom, we hit the decline, we get down here. This is disintegrate. It's enough to thrust us into an incline. See what I'm saying? It never ends. We can consider these frequency waves. We can consider these waves of emotions. However you would like to look at it and or think of it, right? 1 second. Yes. Go. If you're not going to say anything, you can go lay back down. I'm not doing that. I don't even know. I don't even know. Like, you tripping, bro. And since we wake up late like this anyways. Fuck it. I'm going to just take this off because I'm irritated now. I'm irritated. What is it? Use your words. Good night. Go lay back down. And do not stand in that hallway and make whine noises. Child, nothing is wrong with him. I promise you. He just, you know how kids wake up in the middle of the night, for any of you that are parents, and you be like, what? I can tell you what he wants. He wants that phone right there. But they just wake up and they'll come and look at you and you be like, you okay? You need to pee? You hungry? You wet the bed? Well, my kids don't wet the bed, bro. My kids just don't, okay? I don't. Anyways, then what is it? And they just stand there and look at you like, He want my phone. That's what it is. So anyways, the point I'm making is it is about the momentum. Everything we gain, everything we accumulate, the inertia. Because eventually we will come back to a place of incline. Okay, so that was just a quick little example. So in one of Bobby Hemmett's lectures, very intelligent man. He did a lot of research for us on behalf of us, and he kind of is the one that gave me like the different books I need to look into. And sure enough, I did my own research, and I was able to confirm quite a bit of what he said, and also make my own build my own thesis on which has allowed me to research a lot. I don't want to come to a conclusion on the thesis. I want to know everything that I need to experience. I want to experience it all. Everything that I need to touch, taste, feel, experience. That's really what philosophy is about too. Philosophy is here, right? So anyways, in here, he was talking about this statue. And I think it's a Mesopotamian statue, really big. I don't know if it's in a museum or if there's a drawing, but there's a drawing. You can find this anywhere. And anyways, this statue is made out of, the head is like platinum. Then the shoulder area, the bustier area or brassiere area, whatever you would like to call it, it's like it's gold. And then like the torso is bronze. The legs are I think like the legs are like some kind of metal, of the whatever metal is of a lesser quality than the bronze, right? And then the feet are stone. These are this statue, what it is depicting, what is it is representing is the different ages. Like we have the of course we have what we would have like the platinum age or whatever, and this is where energy is at its highest point, at its highest peak, right? Because this energy, we have went through the different ages, cycles of God, right? G.O.D, generate, operate, disintegrate, right? So everything that we get to a point where we're at such an incline, we're at our highest peak. But eventually we must start again because we need to go back into accumulating, right? And we go into a decline. The decline is not what is made to seem. The decline would be the feet, right? The stone, right? Stone age, right? Back to a primitive state of being. So we can then start over again to reaccumulate, build up the inertia to get back up. It's about the incline, to incline back towards an age or a state of energy where it's high vibrational. At one point in time in however long history, this is before Genesis, before the beginning of time, right? Before let's just say before. In order to experience oneself, because I might lose a lot of religious people right here, but it needs to be talked about. So in order to experience at one point in time, God wanted to experience everything that he had made, right? So he collapsed on himself, okay? If God is a star, He collapsed on himself to be able to break himself into a million or trillions of pieces to experience all that he had ever created simultaneously at once. Different areas, but this also meant that he had to create bad, because he inherently, if God is all good, how would we know what good is if we didn't have bad? Does that make sense? So the bad would be like the decline. The bad would be the lowest point. God had to experience himself. He collapsed on himself, and he had to experience himself, itself, in all that he is or all that he could be, the infinite possibilities, right? And this is the same thing that a star does. Because you would only know you are great if you go through all the fucking tests, come over all the obstacles, all the hurdles. So this means that you have to create the obstacles, the hurdles. They are necessary, right? They are necessary. You can't start off like, I'm just great. How the fuck would you know I'm sorry, and I mean, I'm not cursing at God. How would you know that you are great? How would we know that we are great and we started off as great? So we must create the opposite of what is great, which would be the disintegrate, the decline, the opposite of what greatness we feel like it could be in all its infinite possibilities, right? The disintegration. But everything we gain in momentum, in accumulation during this time of disintegration is merely there to build us back up to the point where we know we are great. I'm trying to fucking make it make sense. Where we know we are a star. Right? Where we know that even in the decline, we would eventually end up back at an incline. But the incline is not the end goal. The end goal is the building up of the inertia, the accumulation of what we accumulate to get us back to a point, a state of highness. Right? And another way I could put this is another way I could put this, collective, is like, you ever set a goal and like, baby, I say you took off running towards this goal. You did everything like to a T. You got there before the time you expected to. You met that goal way before, or you met it right on time, and you get there. And now finally, boom. It's great, but then we become so complacent, so comfortable to where it becomes tedious now. There's no excitement. There's no challenges, right? So then we go out, and sometimes we go out and recreate challenges, or we seek challenges, right? Because we want to know, we need to prove to ourselves that we can hit a bigger goal. We can be greater than what we are. Am I making sense? So that is what tawaret is trying to tell me. That's what she wants me to focus on once, or is telling us as a collective whole to focus on, because we do have seeking oneness with all there is. This is giving me you only knowing who you are, accumulate, because you have accumulated all of these different experiences. This builds who you are, builds you up to who you are, or who we are. And then eventually we find ourselves very, very much so, very complacent, very bored, very yawn. This is when our soul fire starts to die. So we go seeking a bigger challenge. It's about the challenge, what we can accumulate, or how we can add to ourselves, our characteristics, our desires, to overcome these challenges, to overcome the decline. And it's just like this I don't know what this statue is called. Like, Oh no, feather, don't fall out. Y'all, I don't know where the feather is. Look, it said it's out. There it go. A bird gave me this feather. Yes, I have an actual bird feather in my head. This was a message from my ancestors. And it is blue and silver. It looks gray, but it is blue and silver. Okay, this statue is described in the book of Daniel. It's in Nebuchadnezzar's dream. Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar. That made me think of the little kids movie called what is it called? Monster. That old man Nebuchadnezzar, I'm on your line. Okay, wait. Okay, so the statue with the stone feet and bronze is called, is a reference to the vision of Nebuchadnezzar described in the book of Daniel, where a giant statue with a gold head, silver chest, bronze belly, iron legs, and feet of iron and clay. I said stone, but shit, clay, is shattered by a stone. The statue represents 4 successive earthly kingdoms. Okay? And the stone that destroys it symbolizes God's eternal kingdom. Eternal. It never ends. It just generate, operate, disintegrate, and begins again. Okay? Which will replace others. The head of gold, it represents the Babylonian Empire. The chest and arms of silver represent the Medo-Persian Empire. The belly and thighs of bronze represents the Greek Empire under Alexander the Great, right? Legs of iron represents the Roman Empire. Now remember how the civilization, as it's naming these different ages were considered great in our respects. How we live in today, we think of the Roman Empire and stuff and everything that they had going on. We think that they lived in, pearly gate, like streets of fucking gold and pearl and stuff like that. Like they had it made. They lived in palaces and stuff built from ivory and things of that nature. And they had extravagant things that we don't even have that today, right? So we want to build ourselves back up to a state of the greatness that we want, where we started off from, the God place, right? The kingdom of God, so to speak, the head of gold. Gold is ultimately indestructible, right? And so I'll continue reading. Feet of iron and clay represents a future divided and weakened state of the Roman Empire, or a federation of kingdoms that rise after it. The federation of kingdoms that rise after the fall of the Roman Empire, the weakened state, the divide of the Roman Empire. Would we not be the ones that have risen after it? And if you look at the state of where we are, we have had to come to a state of great decline, heavy of like high lows, or if that makes sense. We have as a civilization, as civilizations, as a nation, as a people, we have had to get to the point where we are so low so we can work ourselves back up to greatness. So we can see ourselves back up to greatness. Do that make sense? So we can build up through all these challenges, all this turmoil, all the famine, death, war, every fucking thing that is meant to destroy us. It is merely things that we are meant to collect, to accumulate, to build inertia, to work ourselves back up to a state of greatness, right? I think I said it. I think I said it all. I mean, I think, you know, and then of course the stone, so we had the feet of iron and clay, and then a stone. A stone not cut by human hand strikes the feet, destroying the entire statue, and then grows into a mountain that fills the earth. This is interpreted as God's kingdom, which will ultimately triumph over all earthly powers, right? So we want to get back up to G, God, greatness, the top of the wheel. We are working ourselves back up because we were once in a state in like all oneness, love and light, high vibration, everything. And as I said, if we consider this, all these beautiful, wonderful, high vibrational things to be God as a star would have to collapse on itself to experience the highs and lows to know that he is the one true God. We must all experience as well the extreme highs and the extreme lows. We are at an extreme low, guys. We are at an extreme low. Okay, so we are building up the inertia to work our way back up to Godhood, to God light, to God kingdom, or to even to a state where we all know that God is the one true God, right? I pray that I'm making sense. But it is about everything that we experience, everything that we accumulate, how we affect each other, how we don't affect each other, the paths we cross, what we gain, what we lose, how our ideas, our values, our beliefs, our environment, our all external factors, friends, family, even mindsets change based off of the experiences that we accumulate along the way towards a destination of trying to be great. But eventually, and I'm gonna tell y'all like this, because, and this is Bobby Hemmitt's this is like the whole of his lecture. It's like 2-3 hours long, right? Eventually, once we are back at Godhood, right? It will start over again. We will go through the cycle of experiencing God's kingdom, Godhood, God-like abilities, high vibrational everything, oneness, peace, bliss, blessings, all that stuff. We will experience all of that. And eventually it will come to the point where trillions of years down the line, we're talking about generations later, right? Life cycles later, like I don't even know where, right? But we will get to a point where we become complacent and we will forget about everything that we have accumulated because we lived in this state of bliss and glory like forever, right? And then eventually there's going to be an inquiring mind, or minds with an S, that is going to want to know, who have only experienced Godhood, right? God's kingdom, that eventually it will get to the point where a curious, inquiring mind, explorative nature like God, very curious of itself, only experiencing God's kingdom, high vibrations only, love and light, will get to wondering what the opposite of that will be. What else is there? And that curious mind or minds will do something or put something into effect, cause something where we go into a cycle of disintegration or decline again. But it won't be a fast decline. It will be as the statute states. We started off in the golden age, right? Then we went down to the age of silver, and you can even equate this and compare this to when we had the gold standard, then the silver standard, then listen. Then we went to using petroleum and gasoline and stuff. Listen, it's all the same thing. It's all talking about the same thing. The energy, everything is just energy. Every single way, in every respect that I have just explained this to everyone in the collective, like we eventually will get to greatness, right? And we'll experience greatness for so long, we will forget what it's like in the decline. We will want to know. We will just want to be challenged. We just have to. It is the innate nature of energy free flowing. It free flows, but it just wonders, okay, it's time for me to change. I need a challenge. I need something that will give me a boost or that will tell me that I am the ultimate energy. I am the ultimate vibration. So what is it that I can do? Well, I am going to create an opposition of what it is that I am, and then experience that entirely. And then we will go back slowly. It won't happen fast, y'all. It will not happen fast. We will eventually slowly go towards a decline, but the decline is just merely adding to of the decline is not a decline at all. It is merely the adding to of a knowledge base to build ourselves up and remind us that we are great. Remind us who is the ultimate God. Take us back to a place of equilibrium, of balance. I mean, it's inevitable. This is a cycle, okay? This is a cycle. It will always be. It will always be this way. Even if we don't experience the godhood, like generate, operate, disintegrate, and regenerate back to godhood, even if we don't experience that on this plane of existence, we will, mind you, infinite possibilities. We will experience this in another lifetime, on a different plane of existence, where once on a different planet in a different fucking solar system. Let's say that, right? Different solar system that has been created by the collapsing of its soul star. Now we're in a whole different parallel, whatever, in a whole different dimension. And they could have started off at the crystal age, right? They could have started off, the head is crystal. They could have started off at the crystal age, right? And then they went from crystal to, I don't know what's like glass. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not giving the best examples, but I'm saying like this cycle here is inevitable. It is definitely inevitable. It will come, it will go, right? But we literally are gaining experience. I don't really know. If anybody were to ever ask me do we ever stop reincarnating? No, not ever. For people that may go into purgatory, you know, I'm going to have to check with the divine most high God about that and stuff. But do we ever stop reincarnating? Not ever. I can tell you that I have experienced life on other planets before where it was completely dark. Completely dark. I mean, you can see the background. The skies were red and black and blue. The lands were dark, okay? And I guess that maybe that will be considered the dark ages, or that was at that point of time when I experienced what I know I experienced, bro. I know I experienced it. At that point in time, whatever that was the end, I feel, or the beginning of a disintegration. But that particular place that I was at, it was higher vibrational, or it was in a better state of being than where I am today. Because if I had to choose, I would definitely go back to that state of being. And we're talking about, like, I don't know how to explain this place to y'all. I don't know how to explain it to y'all, what I experienced, but there were thrones there. There were thrones. There was an emperor there. There was spaceships there, or there was different ways of travel, right? Free energy, zero energy traveling, right? And at that moment, how I felt at that moment, if you ask me, I felt like that what I experienced in that particular lifetime, whatever planet I was on, okay? That was the worst at that particular time. That's how I felt. But how I feel in this state of being today, I would rather go back to that low than be at this low. I pray I'm making sense. Also, same thing. Consider, sorry, I pray nobody seeing like my drawers and shit, you know, like I'm not really self-conscious about my body and shit, so, you know, like, but definitely not trying to be raunchy. Please don't report my video. Okay. Consider this disintegration, this point of low, to be where I was before. But this is a different planet. This is a different plane of existence. What I thought was low here is different from what is low here. Consider these dips, planes of existence or decline in civilizations. Inca, Maya, Olmec, Toltec, all of those. They all had great inclines where they were at the peak of who they were as civilizations. And then they had a decline. They went through the operation of being at the top, the peak, right? And then they hit what is known as a plateau. Eventually, you know, whatever happened, the variable that is introduced, right? I talked about that before. The variable that's introduced says, I need to introduce something that causes a challenge. Unfortunately, this challenge causes a decline, right? A decline that we then have to work our way back up. But eventually, all great civilizations are birthed from shit like this. Like what we're going through today, the Great Divide, the racisms, the war, and I'm, you know, like, and I'm not trying to say that it's the greatest thing. I'm just trying to say these things, they force us to see where we went wrong. They force us to learn lessons that need to be learned so we can, and ultimately the lesson in this particular life cycle, because we, like I said, we're at an extreme fucking low in civilization as fucking humans, right? We're at an all-time low, if you ask me. Oh no, people like, no, we was at the Stone Age and we lived in caves. No, the fuck we did it. Dude, we got that all backwards anyways. We definitely have all that backwards. You know what? We're in the Stone Age. I'm sorry. People are going to be really pissed about that. It's true. We're in the Stone Age. We're at the stone of the feet. Okay? Where we are right now. And I'm not talking about because we got a little fancy shit and we got the fancy smashing wigs and shit like that. We are in the Stone Age right now. We actually started off crystal cities, caves, and stuff like that. Floating cities, right? There are remnants of these things. There are remnants of the existence of these things. Even our stature, our sizes has declined greatly. This is why. You see Egyptians depicting two of the same people. What they are depicting is a decline or a human de-evolution. The de-evolution had to happen for whatever reason, but for the accumulation of inertia to build our way back up to where we are these big versions of ourselves. We are smaller in stature than our ancestors. We are. When they say, oh, these were Nephilim, they probably were Nephilim. But the average man, on average, trust me, I have done the research. Fuck it. Don't trust me. Do your research. Do your research, people. But I have done enough research for myself to be sure of the fact that we once stood 9, 10 feet tall. That was average. This is why Egyptians depict in so many of their hieroglyphics this shit. You see a big ass man and then a small ass man. They are explaining God, generate, operation, and disintegration, or degeneration, okay, or devolving. That's what they are explaining. That we would get to a state of, we're in a stone age. That's why I did away with Darwinism. We're in the Stone Age now. The technology that they had, Atlantis, for example, if you compare our today to Atlantis, would this not be the Stone Age? If you compared our today to the Tartarian Empire, would this not be the Stone Age? Where we are so fucking primitive, we can't even telepathically communicate with each other anymore. At least some of us can, you know. But we're the story for later days. We can't move shit with our minds. We can't fly anymore, right? We can't use the natural gravity of the earth that we are on. All and all her glory, beautiful thing she is. I love her. But we cannot use the natural high vibrational energy that she has, because even Earth, Ea, Gaia, Tiamat, she has went into a state of disintegration where she must start again. Even when we think in terms of religious texts, when God destroyed the earth, he destroyed it, not to destroy it entirely, but to start anew. To start anew at a place where everything is balanced, everything is high vibrational, everything starts off with a fresh slate, where then the people, the civilization that's birthed forth in these new earths and stuff like that, because we are going into Mach 5, aka Earth 5. Oh no, I don't want to scare nobody. We're not gonna go too deep into that, bro. We're not gonna go too deep into that. I don't want to do that. But where we learn there are remnants, okay? The accumulation of the inertia. There are remnants that have lasted. The remnants would be stories. It would be artwork. It would be depictions, however you would like the remnants. Even the remains of old cities, the remains of giant ass people and stuff like that. It's still here. It's still here. We find it all the time, right? And so we have these remnants as reminders so where we know where we start from, right? They are reminders to let us know where we end or where we disintegrated and how we got to a point where we are back at the top. And they're supposed to be reminders to so to speak, as a way to say what not to do. But of course, naturally, somebody is going to be hella fucking curious, right? And they're going to go and have to open up that can of worms of whatever it is that disintegrated us before, that caused us to de-evolve before, right? It's inevitable. It doesn't matter in what respect, what universe, multiverse, or plane of existence you are in. But what does matter, what I can say is that ultimately right now we are in a place of incline. Don't worry, because we're too much at an extreme low. We are in the Stone Age, baby. We are the feet of this statue. We are the feet of this statue. The statue in Melchizedek's dream in the book of Daniel. There you go. I mean, you got it. So I read that on the internet. Y'all see me just read it because I didn't know where to find that at. I couldn't even think of I said Melchizedek, child, Nebuchadnezzar, however you say that man's name, okay? So, but we are at a place, we are in the Stone Age, so the only place we have is up from here. You get what I'm saying? up towards the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God will be the fuck all that gold head shit. I'm trying to get back to a place of before Atlantis, because I know too much, too much, too much. There are places far greater than Atlantis. In other places, in other verses, let's say this, verses, not books, like multiverse and universe, we'll call those verses, okay? In other verses, there are places that exist that existed before Atlantis. Atlantis, to these places, is the extreme decline. While Atlantis to us is the greatest we could ever think of. I mean, y'all, the way that they explain Atlantis, but I know that there are places that existed before Atlantis where the builders of Atlantis came from those places, and Atlantis was the fucking decline. Excuse my words. Bad language, poor language, apologies. And here people are wanting to be common, like everyone else. Not me. I'm too cute for that shit. I can't be like everybody else. I gotta be the weird one. I gotta be the weird, because I gotta know. You know, I may, and probably in the past life, I was probably the fucking inquiring mind that went and took my curious ass on somewhere and caused a fucking disintegration. Hey, infinite possibilities. It's possible. It's possible. Hey, it's possible. I ain't pulled up. These are the only cards I done pulled, child. This and this. You're a star and fire. Starfire. What I have just explained is what stars do. It's what energy does. It's what civilizations do. It's what the animal kingdom does. It's what the planets do. It's what the weather does. Yay or nay, the weather, right? All the seasons and stuff, we go through seasons of incline, seasons of decline, right? But what we do know for sure is that even in our seasons of decline, aka, I don't, you know, no disrespect to the elemental spirits, to the nature spirits, guys. I'm just, you know, hypothetically. Even in our seasons of winter, where it feels like that season is a season of decline, really, right? Let air quotes. Even in that, we know that eventually spring is coming, right? We are everything we're doing in the winter is we're working ourselves up to prepare for the incline of spring, the blossoming of, the blooming of, you know? And then we stay, you know, at an even keel till we get the hot ass weather. Summer comes and stuff. Everybody having fun. Energy is hella high and shit. And then when the end of summer rolls around, we start getting ready for the cozier seasons. This is the same thing. What I'm expressing is the same thing. We're talking about the soul, life's purpose, the cycle of a star, the cycle of life, the cycle of God, the cycle of us. It is not about an end. There is no end. There is no end. And I'm going to say that with certainly, God-like certainty. There is no end. And it's so crazy because society has beat into our heads that we live to die. And we only knew that we live to live. We live for the experience to live. Baby, we would do things so different. We would have a different respect for ourselves and for others. And when you know this, when you experience this, when you have been shown this, now y'all see why I'm so gullible and naive. Not really. I am just very much so aware. Very much so. Aware of shit that people just people are coming, people are inclining, people are on an incline. Even our minds, for people who are closed-minded, hella religious like me, like, oh hell no, tarot, the spirituality thing, that's all demonic. Opening my mind, that was an incline, right? So we are finding that, or seeing ourselves in an incline. It looks like we're destroying. It looks like we're in a state of destruction. We are just in a state of death and rebirth, a state of renewal, a state of incline. But in order to incline, we have to now open our minds, or open up this wheel, this ball, to allow this ball of inertia to build up within us again, so we can have enough power, enough energy to make it up that incline. And at the top of the hill is not the goal. That's not the goal. The goal is all the inertia, everything that we build up in character and experiences, and helping one another in oneness. We had to be forced into a state like this because there was too many differences. People were fighting, nations were fighting over shit that regenerates, okay? That belongs to no one but the Most High God. We are all just, these things are here, natural resources especially, but they are there for everyone to experience in their full capacity. My anklet is so cute. Oh my God. Oh my God. But they are there for everyone to experience in their full capacity. So we had to get to a state where we are so fucking divided, where so much bad shit is happening to us, that the only option we are left with is to incline, to pull our nations out of such a great state of extreme lows. The only option we have is to work with one another. And for the people that don't want to, well, story for other days. But we're not going to focus on that right now. We're focusing on the experiences of. So several years ago, our sun went through what is known as a grand solar minimum. This been considered a pole shift, and this is when, remember, they were having all those bad ice storms all over the world and shit. People were out of power. There was so much going on. We experienced some of the coldest few years that we had ever experienced, that man has never known, okay? The only account that man has of this particular grand solar minimum happening is back during the time during the Ice Age, when the Bering Strait was formed. Okay? Bering Strait, Ice Age. Okay? That is the last time that man has an actual account in history that is in the books, the remnant of, okay? The remnant of said grand solar minimum. Now, this is when our sun was in a state of hibernation, sleep, right? It didn't collapse on itself necessarily, but it went into a sleep. And then our sun began to awaken, I don't know, 3 years ago, 4, maybe. Because we're talking several years since the grand solar minimum. And it's in any science magazine article if you ever want to go look it up. It definitely is. But our sun started waking up out of what is known as the sun's hibernating state. Okay. And it started going through a grand solar maximum. And the sun has been in this grand solar maximum or incline of itself, the experience of itself, for like 4 years now. That's why these fucking summers have been hot as shit. Okay? Is that all, tawaret? Because I don't find this funny that you put me on the spotlight. I find this funny. Because no, let me see what else. Let me see what else. Freedom associations, your circle of friends. For humanity's sake, your hopes and wishes. Do it for the future. That's so not fair. Inside joke, guys. Inside joke. That's so not fair. So as a Sag, let's just say I am on the incline of my decline, right? I'm heading towards my incline, right? So in this particular moment, Mercury is in retrograde in Sag, right? And you would think that I would have a huge problem with communicating these things, right? But what if this particular moment where I thought, limits imposed, Saturn energy, where I thought that I would have trouble speaking or showing up as myself, showing people, or even proving to myself that Mercury, even though it's in retrograde in Sagittarius, so it affects me heavily, I thought I would have a problem with communicating, right? But I have just now, right here, and while she put me on the spot like this, proven to myself, right, in my state of decline, that's just a limit that has been imposed. It's not really there. It's not really there. Or the limit was imposed of me thinking that I was going to have a problem with being like this, talking like this, speaking to people, whomever is watching me like this, right? To show me that I can do better. I'm on the incline, right? I can do better. If this is what I can do in Mercury retrograde, surely what I can do when Mercury is out of retrograde, out of my fucking sign, period, right? It could be even greater. So now I'm building up the inertia right here. Problems with communication in Sag, right? I'm building up the inertia for the incline, for me to be able to speak better, for me to get myself out of this fear of being like public speaking, right? Like public speaker, who? Talking to who? Like your girl like to talk though. Like I could talk. Okay. But also in this learning what to say, when to say, and how to say it. Also with me recording on here, being able to go back and look at my own videos and be like, this was cool, but maybe you need to change this up. Maybe you need to change that up. Everything that I'm accumulating from doing the things that I thought that I would never do from the beginning. If I think back to the beginning of who I thought I would be, as opposed to right now at this very moment, I would have never seen myself here. But I never foreseen myself going through or experiencing the things that I went through. And before anybody out there in the collective, for the karmics, if you ever think that you're going to take credit, like, yeah, if I would have never put that person through that, she wouldn't be the person she is today. Sit your dumb ass down. Okay? Because Mercury is in retrograde, but my mouth is not. Okay? Okay? I'm just saying. Somebody needed to hear that. Somebody definitely needed to hear that. So, do you want to elaborate with the tarot? Because you have taken up quite some time, tawaret. We're almost at 2 hours here. I'll wait. Oh, I'm in a blank collective. I'm just waiting. I don't know what y'all gonna do, but I'm drawing a blank now. I think I done talked myself into no thoughts. State of mindlessness. Just being. Oh, you made her funny, didn't you? She made her funny. I have just accumulated another piece of information about myself. You got jokes. That's what I will say. She definitely got jokes, okay? The inside joke is like, I do not find that funny. Well, I find it hilarious, actually. Like, the ancestors be having like real live jokes. They really do. So I've been being guided lately to get back to my more meditative state. Like, when I say I meditate for long periods, like long periods of stillness and quiet, darkness. I sit in a dark area, a dark room. There's no light. And literally, I sit hours, or at least I used to sit hours on end with my legs crossed in complete stillness and nothingness, right? But for me, my mind runs rampant. This thing, it runs at the speed of light. I'm always thinking. And see, meditation is about being in a state of rest, of peace, where there are no thoughts. Literally. And you really, to know that state is something different, y'all. It's something different, especially for a person who, like me, whose mind is always questing, and then the mouth fucking follows, and then I'm just like, I will talk people ears off. I will talk people into a retirement home, bro. I can talk so much, so freaking much, right? And I've been being guided lately to get back into my longer meditative states, right? Better for my downloads, better for my body, for my state of being, better for this is also a buildup, right? This would also be like accumulation or inertia, an inertia point for me. So because I think and talk so much, she just put me on the spot. Everything that she did, how she set this up. Like, she got jokes. Everything that she just did, how she set all of this up right now was for me. Every little thought, every little everything, every little worry, every little doubt, every little fear. She has just forced me to face all of that and forced me to get everything that is in my mind out of my mouth, to where I get back to a state of just like, damn, I don't have no more thoughts. What's next? Bro. it, collective. I don't know if she want me to pull. We got sun energy at the bottom. I don't know. This may pertain to the next read. Do you want me to pull anything from here? Oh my God. See how funny they are? I mean, they are hilarious. If you don't think that your ancestors, if you think your ancestors, the spirit guides, the divine, bro, that like, if you don't think that they have a sense of humor, they definitely do. They will get you to do what is best for you, however they need to do it. That shit crazy, bro. That shit crazy. That's not even fair. It's not even, that's not fair. Okay, cool. I don't know what's going on with these cards, bro. Like, but they keep turning themselves upside down in this deck. I literally sat here and turned all of these cards right side up. King of Cups is in the reverse. Eight of Swords in the reverse. Like, I literally, anybody can go back and look at them videos. I sat here and turned these cards right side up. The World is in the reverse. The Star is in the reverse. Like, what the F? Like, there's no way, bro. There's no way. There's just no way. There is just no way that these cards are upside down. Anyways, collective, I'm going to end this here, and maybe I'll do another read. Maybe I might go sit in front of this fireplace and rub my cute little feet together with my little anklet and stuff like that. But nonetheless, y'all, I'm so happy to be of service to y'all however I need to be, however the divine, the Most High God needs me to be. I'm so happy to be of service to y'all and talk about these things. So until next time, make sure y'all check back in. Make sure that you guys are getting the notifications. Make sure that YouTube is not unsubscribing you, because YouTube means you got a bone to pick, okay? So I'll see you guys next time. And remember, as I always like to say, let this world define you. Let the experiences, I don't always say that, but we're going to say that now. Let the experiences define who you are, okay? Define yourself like I define me, because I am your girl. Me by B, that is the alter ego, aka the dual alchemist, your dual nature being. And I love you guys. I thank you for the support. And I will see y'all later. And I will talk y'all ear off later. Bye, collective.